Hi guys, and welcome back to TNG Productions. My name is Tom, and yeah, we're back with probably the biggest unboxing we've ever actually done. This is the Kickstarter released Hellboy board game by Mantic Games, and this giant box arrived today at TNG Towers, and we thought we'd have a look inside. You've probably been able to check out on the channel already that we've done 2 playthroughs of the game. We've done an early access one, and we've done a BPRD case file, so you'll be able to kind of look at the random generated ones, and I'll put a link to that in the description below and also in the end slides. But today we're going to crack open. Now, just to emphasize how big this box is, here is Shiva from the Mantic Games Walking Dead game. Just let me put that in perspective. She's quite a big miniature, and you know, like, yeah, she tiny compared to this box. So I've got the camera set up. I'm going to crack this open, lay it out on the table, and we'll have some zoom in cameras for you to have a look at the quality of the miniatures and the pieces that come with this box. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, here we are then, and that was like a good 10 minutes of actual unpacking to get all of this stuff out on the table. So over here I've got an overview of everything, and then we'll be able to cut to the zoom in cam to show you some of these beautiful miniatures. But to start with, we're going to show you what's actually in terms of gameplay components that comes in the box. So the first thing that comes when you open it are the tutorial sheet, which basically gives you an overview of how the game is played. Again, I definitely plug some of the videos we've done with Needy Cat Games, who are the designers. They've got a really intuitive game system here. Obviously, you've got the main rule book that also then gives you guidance. It's got a fantastic quick reference sheet just on the back, as do all of the kind of Mantic Kickstarters. Full colour with the beautiful artwork from Dark Horse as well. Speaking of beautiful artwork, you've also got some exclusive pieces here. So this piece of artwork, as far as I know, the creator of Hellboy designed this specifically for this Kickstarter board game, which is why you see it appear on the front cover of the box. And there's a non-coloured version there. Just moving aside, then we've got our game pieces. So to start with, you've got character cards, which I'll just pop over here. You've probably seen these appear in our videos. You've essentially got character statistics and abilities such as their health. You've got special rules and their unique actions, and it tells you the relevant dice and also what they're particularly skilled at. I think from what I remember, red is the best, which is why Hellboy is great at punching stuff. Then you've got amber, and then you've got yellow, which is slightly worse. You've got the main characters such as Liz and Johan. But because it's the Kickstarter, there's also extra ones that have been added, extra kind of either BPRD characters or additional groups or versions of Hellboy. So we've got Scott Clark, we've got Pancake's Hellboy. I'll show off his miniature in a minute, which is beautiful. Roger, there's the Visitor as well, who I'm quite excited to have a play through. So far, myself and Paul have used Hellboy, Liz, Abe, and Johan. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how these different operatives function. So these are all high quality card. They are really useful gameful pieces that kind of allow you to track everything you need, but they're pretty self-explanatory. So let's go on to the really cool stuff. So within the box itself, there are a variety of cards, as I'm sure you are aware, which detail the requirements of the mission and what appears in each room. And there's a massive variety. There are story-based missions, but there is also BPRD case files, which is the one that we've recorded with Needy Cat Games, which is almost like a free-form, free-play scenario where you can build a random deck and it'll give you a random boss at the end, which, spoilers for that video, I think we ended up with Rasputin at the end, who was horrendous, really strong. The other thing I really like about these files is they come with thematic storyline pieces. They are written to kind of introduce the case to you. Speaking of game pieces, you've got our wonderful thick card pieces here, which has got tokens. If I just lift these up, you can see underneath we've got things like health tokens, and the artwork is just stunning. It's the first thing that we kind of picked up, even when the game was in kind of an early access first kind of demo run. The artwork really does encapsulate that feeling of reading through the comics. Aside from that, there's all manner of various tokens that allow you to kind of keep track of target priority, and we'll come on to that in a second, and general pips and blocks for kind of the influence of the actions that you can take. But I'm just going to move that to one side if I can find table space, because it's absolutely dominating this table. And we'll get on to the super cool bit, this massive array of miniatures. Now, I'm not going to take you through everything, because otherwise we'll be here absolutely all day. I'm going to go with the heavy hitters for you and talk them through. Now, this is PVC. It's the same PVC that Mantic use with their Walking Dead style. miniatures wargame, and I think most people will be aware now that really did kickstart, for want of a better word, Mantic's production to a whole new level. And you can see this is the Kickstarter Hellboy here, which is absolutely stunning with his horns kind of grown out. The alternate variant, which I'm sure you will have seen in our battle reports, is this one here. If you haven't seen them online, have a look on the Mantic website. The Angel Geralda's painted versions, which we've had to be very delicate with in the past, are just beautiful. And the detail in these miniatures, Liz in particular, let's get her out, is absolutely fantastic. And I look forward to seeing what far more talented painters than myself are able to achieve with this, which is my way of telling Paul on camera that he's going to have to paint these, because there's no way I even try and do them justice. Obviously there's loads that are dotted in here. Let's get some of the baddies out. Let's get Rasputin, which you'll have seen. He's beautiful in terms of the way he's done. Dynamic poses, like I said, hard PVC. As far as I can see within the set, there aren't many issues of warping at all. If I give you some of the frog monsters, for example, here you can see there's a little bit of a bend in the staff, but all that needs is a dunk in boiling water for about 10 seconds. You just straighten it out in the same way that you would with any others. Now, I mentioned earlier on the target priority markers, which are essentially your way of tracking who's going to get hit. And what they've done for the Kickstarter brilliantly has been these busts of the characters, which are just absolutely beautiful. And I think, you know, if you're going on a painting rampage, working your way through these, you've got such a wonderful variety to add that extra little bit of depth to your game. And there are even busts for the additional Kickstarter characters. If I dig them out, I think I've definitely seen them amidst this massive pile. Here we go. So you've got busts here as well for the non-main characters that go with it. Now, as I said, I don't want to focus too much just on going through the miniatures, as much as I could absolutely all day. The main thing I've picked up from looking at these models is the dynamic range of the poses, and I'm sure you can definitely see that as it spreads across. But if we look at some of the baddies, for want of a better word, we've got, you know, incredibly dynamic action poses, as you can see here. A wide variety of models that are kind of in a striking pose or in the middle of an action. So for example, if we take the Medusa Beast, which is just an awesome miniature for whatever you want to use it for, especially for this game, you can see that has been captured so carefully, that kind of essence of like kind of creepy beauty that is so prevalent within the Hellboy styles. Now, there's a variety of obviously frog monsters and tokens that go within that. I don't want to go into too much detail with them because you'll have seen them before heavily advertised. Some of the more human characters are quite interesting for me. So for example, if we look at this gas mask wielding guy here, there's a huge variety that goes in. There's so many miniatures that come in within this Kickstarter. The beasts in particular, like this kind of werewolf, you see it howling up there. Really, really well captured. But before I digress further, let's get on to the ones that we really want to see, which are the bosses, which are massive, massive miniatures. So let's start with the, I've got good memories of this one, the giant frog monster, which I'm sure many people will have seen. Absolutely towering presence, an absolute beast in the game as well, nightmare to try and whittle down. He's kind of one of your base ones. You can see size comparison there with him. You can see a tiny bit of bending in the base, but again, a little bit of hot water easily solves that. They're all really nicely stored together, actually. That's one thing I will say. This box does go quite nicely back in the main box, and it's so beautiful you can use it for display. If we go on to some more, you can see here the statue that goes in the middle wrapped around Serpent here is absolutely beautiful. You can see Mantic are really, really upping their game with their kind of casting style, and it wasn't bad to start with, but it's just next level now. You can see the Tentacle Beast here. Absolutely fantastic. Let's go on to the Giant Worm. I love the Giant Worm. This is probably, I think, the biggest model, I'd say, within the box. For good reason, I should definitely add. And, you know, for scale purposes, it's a heavy, weighty beast. But you can see if we put Liz just next to it, you're going to be impressed when this thing comes out onto the battlefield. It's absolutely intimidating. And a weighty piece of PVC as well, actually. add in the last couple that are knocking down here. These were the stretch goals, I believe, on the Kickstarter. I've got one that is just buried at the back, which I will, rather than trying to wrestle with on camera, I'll see if I can dig him out a little bit later. But you can see there's a huge variety there of really, really cool miniatures, and, you know, even the Kickstarter exclusive Let's Get Pancake Hellboy out. He's brilliant. Now, aside from just the miniatures quality individually, it's also worth noting the collective quality of some of the pieces that come with this. If I just scoot these guys out of the way, one of my favourite parts of this package is actually the fire tokens that come with it. Now, these are kind of a luminous, almost semi-opaque fire, which is obviously fantastic for Liz because she just basically walks into rooms and spreads flames wherever she wants to go. She can burn frog monsters and really mess up their day. There is a little bit of terrain that comes with the set. My favourite piece is this wounded or dead, shall we say, soldier here who's kind of propped himself up against a piece of slate. Obviously, it's worth noting as well that Mantic have their full terrain crate range, which is ideally suited for this kind of thing. It's the exact scale needed. If you look in some of our battle reports that we've done on Hellboy, you'll be able to see the doors and the bookshelves. And I think the terrain crates retail for the big crates about £60 in the UK and about £20, I believe, for the smaller ones. But you could probably get a £20 box of bookshelves and really, really decorate these in. But there are various crates and clue tokens and monuments and tomes for Rasputin to make use out of. All there ready to go, pot vials or potions. So they really do add that extra little bit of depth for what you want to have. There are the general frog tokens. They are the Heralds of the Apocalypse. These are the frog swarms that you get to have in. And obviously the dice. Now, I've actually not seen these dice yet. Paul has, because obviously he did his playthrough with the Needy Cat guys. But originally the dice were a different style, different colour palette. But actually I'm very, very pleased to say, and this is a pet hate of mine sometimes, that these dice are indented with the print. So if I just hold this up to camera, and hopefully the shine on the cameras won't mess up too much, you can see there, they're indented, which is super important because when you play a game a lot, the paint often gets rubbed off. So actually this is a huge bonus for me in the sense that that should limit that issue that goes with it. Now, there's a huge variety of bits and pieces here that I could go through. There's well over 100 miniatures that are right in front, and you can see the vast array of painting that you've probably got ahead of you. And I would strongly recommend maybe doing like a batch unit of replicated ones and then maybe doing a character for yourself as a treat, especially when some of them are just awesome. Here's your alternate Rasputin. This is all I do for this video, just constantly show off the miniatures, but you'd be here all day otherwise. But you see what I mean, there are stylistically fantastic thematic characters here that you can make use of. So yeah, as I said, that is essentially the main retail unboxing. Now, we've got coming a little bit later the expansions such as Hellboy in Mexico is one during his Lucha Libre kind of days. And I think there's another expansion that we've got coming as well. I'll have to check in on that. So this is the Kickstarter Core. Now, if you've seen the retail box, you still get a hell of a lot of stuff with it. Obviously, you just don't get many of the replicants or the exclusive miniatures, such as the alternate Hellboy and things like that with the horns. However, for those of you who are waiting for your package or who are just opening it now, I just can't wait to see what people do with these. They are phenomenally well painted. There's a beautiful variety of enemies and characters. And yeah, and if you are looking to learn the rules and you're struggling, there's a brilliant FAQ up already on the Facebook group for the Hellboy Fanatics, I think it is on Facebook, where the Needy Cat Games guys are already answering the frequently asked questions. And they're even pointing people very kindly to a video that we did, which was the BPRD one, which talks you through the base mechanics. So if you are interested in either purchasing the retail or you're waiting for this, again, I'll point you to those videos in the description and in the end slide to go with this. Now, with that being said, I'm now going to go and dig in and play with these new toys because they're absolutely fantastic and probably, I would say, one of the most satisfactory Kickstarters we have backed. It's arrived in good time. The shipping was not really a major issue. I didn't have many delays at all. The quality is exactly as promised. The range, especially the card materials that go with it, look like they're going to be durable and well wearing. And obviously we saw them in early access as well, and they've developed beautifully. So massive hats off to the Mantic guys for the production value. Huge well done to Needy Cat Games for the quality The main worry I had with Hellboy was whether it was going to be replayable, and with those BPRD case files, it is incredibly replayable. So huge congratulations to them, and hopefully you'll be able to give us a bit of feedback on how you're getting on with Hellboy. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Hi guys, thank you very much for watching our content. It means the world to us. If you'd like to see some more videos, they should be over here. And if you'd like to support our channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. See you later.